As an interior designer, I'm always looking for the best softwares, apps, and tools for interior design. And not so long ago, I found a tool that transformed my entire interior design workflow. Today, I'm hosting a complete course entirely for free where I'm going to show you how to use Rayon in your interior design and architectural workflow. With this tool, you can create interior design floor plans, elevations, sections, and much more. If you are ready to level up your digital design workflow inside of Rayon, I highly encourage you to watch this course all the way till the end because it's going to be packed with information all the way from beginner to advanced workflows inside of Rayon. And it is all for free. So grab a coffee and let's get right into it. I'm gonna keep this very simple. If you are a design professional or you are aspiring to be a design professional, you need a digital tool for 2D drawings. End of the story. Some designers use AutoCAD, Vectorworks, ArchiCAD, Revit. I can keep going. And do not get me wrong, some of these tools are really great, but the learning curve and the pricing is not so great. Which is why today I'm bringing you a tool that is probably the best option for designers who want efficiency and speed at an affordable price, or even for free. Rayon is a tool for design. It is web-based and it has a number of features for creating floor plans, elevations, sections, and more. The first thing you want to do is create an account with Rayon if you don't have one already. To do so, just click the link in the description of this video where it says create your Rayon account to get 30% off with your Pro subscription if you ever want to upgrade. And by the way, if you just want to keep your account for free, entirely for free, you can also do that. So go and create your free Rayon account and let's begin. So this brings me to my next point, which is Rayon free or do you have to pay a subscription for this? You have options. So you can create an account entirely for free, learn how to use all the tools entirely for free, which is what I'm going to be showing you in this course. To use the tools and everything, you do not need to pay for a subscription. You can create up to 3 projects with your free Rayon account, which is more than enough to learn how to master this tool. Now, if you want to take full advantage of this tool, and unlock some features that are not available in the free subscription, you can get the Pro subscription. But just so you know, you can start off with the free version. You can always upgrade later if you decide to, and it is exactly what I'm gonna be doing. I have a free account, which is what I'm gonna be giving you this course with. And at some point, I'm gonna upgrade just to show you how it is different from the free version. And by the way, if you decide to upgrade, the cost of the subscription is nothing crazy, nothing like you've paid before with other softwares that are out there. It is actually very affordable, and I think it's totally worth it, but it is entirely up to you. So here's a summary of all the lessons that I'm going to cover in this free course. You can always jump back and forth to other lessons in the description below. Okay, so now for real, let's begin. Okay, so once you have created an account with Rayon, this is what you will see, and this is the interface in Rayon. So I'm gonna go over all of the things that you can see on your brand new account so that you can start getting familiar with the interface and it is easier for you to get used to Rayon. So the first thing here at the top, you're gonna have your name, and if you have an organization, you can here create different organizations. You can give them a name. It could be the name of your company, or you don't necessarily have to do this. And you can also add people to your organization. If you are a designer and you have a team of people, then you can here say how many people roughly work in your company. So this is my organization, this is my company, but you don't need to have this like this. So below that you have the settings, and here you can change your avatar. So all this is the color of your icon. So for example, if I change this to blue and I go back here, you can see how my icon has changed to blue. So later in the course, you're going to learn that you can actually collaborate with other people and they can invite you into their own projects. So this is how you will be identified. So you can change the color of this little icon if you want to do that. Now let's go back to the settings. Here's where you will customize your name. If you didn't do this when you created your own account, or if you want to change it, you can still do that here. And if you click on this button, it'll delete your account. So I don't recommend you to do that. So let's go back. So here you can actually log out from here. So as I told you, or probably I didn't, but I just want to say that Rayon is an app that works online. So you need a browser, and it's not an app that it's downloaded into your computer. So all we're doing is we are in our browser, you go to Rayon Design, you log into your account, and you will be designing online. So you need an internet connection, but here if you, for example, logging in a different computer than yours, you can also log out from your account, which I would recommend if you are working somewhere else, not in your own personal computer. Okay, so this is like your home page. So here you will see, once you start creating your models, they're going to be all here. And here you have the templates that are already there from Rayon. So you can choose a template. You just have to click on these 3 dots and use this template, and then it'll open it up. And you see how now the template has moved to my model section, and here you can actually edit it and do whatever you want. If you don't want this, you can just click on these 3 dots and delete it. But keep in mind that when you delete a model, it's going to go to trash, right? So you can either recover it here or delete it permanently. But I want you to know that when you delete it, it's in the trash, but it still counts as a model. So for example, if I have a free account, I already told you that you can only create 3 models. So if I have like 2 here and then 1 in the trash, it is going to count as model. So if you delete something, I would recommend you to just delete it permanently so that it does not count as one of the 3 models that you are entitled with your free account. So I hope that makes sense. So now here, let's keep going with the menu. So here you have tutorials. You can watch them if you want, but I'm going to be covering everything in this course. And here, if someone shares a model with you, you will be able to see them here. Here you will see your workspaces. I only have 1, but you can also create more by clicking on this icon. Now let's go to the other side. So let's go back to personal. So here you can also import different files, and I will be getting into all of that. We're going to be importing all of those file types. One thing that you need to know is that you can only import files that are up to 10 megabytes in size. So make sure you keep that in mind. I've never had a situation where I have a size that is bigger than that, and if I ever do, I will just compress it just to make sure that I can import it into Rayon. And here, if you want to create a new model from absolute scratch, you can also do this. So here's going to tell you which plan you're on. I have the free plan, and it allows me up to 3 models. So right now I haven't created anything, and if you ever want to upgrade, you just click here and then you will see your options for changing your subscription either to Pro or to Team. Later in the course, I'm going to be showing you what are the things that are going to be available with your Pro subscription, and I'm actually going to be doing it with you in case you want to do it as well. So here at the bottom, you can actually text the Rayon team. So you can send a message if you are, just looking for information, searching for help. You can send them a message and they will get back to you. And here at the very bottom, you actually have 2 very important buttons. So if I go to documentation, it's going to take me to this other page where it's going to tell you a lot of information about Rayon. So again, some of this stuff, or I would say most of it, I'm going to be sharing with you, so you don't really need to come here, but somewhere where I do recommend you to go is the space planning guide. So this is a great resource from Rayon. So it is a guide and it tells you what are the sizes for this type of furniture and, you know, just general furniture for offices. So if I click on that, it's going to tell you what are like overall chair dimensions, and it tells you in feet and inches and also in meters. So it is great if you ever are just wondering what things measure, and this is very useful for interior designers, for architects. So it is a great guide and a great reference to just go back to those guides. They are completely free. As you can see, I am in the free version and I have access to all of that, and so do you. So it is a great resource and I highly recommend you to check this out. So this is the Rayon interface. I am really excited to start teaching you Rayon. I will see you in the next lesson. Hello guys, in this lesson I'm going to show you how to create a new model from scratch in Rayon. So just click on new model or on new here at the top and click on model, and we're going to start creating our first model. So here at the left you can see that you have some tutorials that you can watch. We don't really need this right now, so we're just going to close that off. So this is my interface. Now I recommend that you get a mouse with the wheel, because it's going to be way easier for you to work in Rayon if you have a mouse. It's going to be more easy for you to navigate. So once you have your mouse, you can go here to this hamburger menu and click on Preferences, Navigation Mode, and click on the mouse to make it active. You could also use your pad if you want to, but highly encourage you to get a mouse. And I will leave some mouse recommendations in the description of this video so that you can shop for a mouse if you don't have one yet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a wall. You're going to be creating a lot of walls. So all you want to do is type W on your keyboard, or you can also come to the wall tool here at the bottom. Just click on this little arrow and it's going to activate the wall tool. So this is the one. And now it's active. So you just want to click anywhere, you drag your mouse, click again, and it has created a wall for you. So this is not like AutoCAD where you have to draw line by line. It's already creating the entire wall for you. If you keep going, you can create another wall, a third one. You click every time that you want to end the action, and you can just close this off and you have created a room in literally seconds. So some things that I want to point out. To navigate, you're just gonna click on your wheel and you're gonna pan. If you want to zoom in, just scroll with your wheel, scroll in, scroll out, and you're zooming in and out. Very easy to navigate. Now let's click on the wall. So I want to show you how walls behave. So if you click on them, you will actually see the dimensions of the walls. So all of these measurements are already going to be there automatically. If you want to change the measurement, you just click on it. Let's say I don't want it to be 3 inches. I only want it to be 9 feet. So I'm just going to delete that and then click on this check mark, and it's going to change it, and now it is only 9 feet. If you want to measure, you can go here to the distance tool, you click on it, you can also type DI on your keyboard, and then you want to just make sure that that is actually 9 feet. So if I click on one corner, on the other, it is 9 feet. So very easy to work with Rayon, with dimensions. If you click on the walls, you can also resize them. So they stretch, you don't have to add any lines. It's very easy to change the layout because you can easily move them, and they're all going to follow that original one that you are moving. Now I want to show you one thing. If you want to create a wall, you can actually start creating a wall from the left side, from the center, or you can also align that to the right side. So all you need to do is either click on these little buttons, or you can click on your keyboard the letter L, and it's going to change from one to the other. So let's say I want to do the center. So if I do the center, when I create my wall, let's say here, it's going to start creating it from the center. So you see how it started right from the center. If I undo that action with Control Z, if I were to change that, let's say to the left, if I create my wall, you can see that now my mouse is creating the wall from the left side. So it is different, and this is how you can change the setting here at the bottom. So right now we're just going to click on this. We're just going to hit delete on my keyboard, or you can also click on delete and it's going to get rid of that wall. The last thing that I want to show you is how to change your measurement units. So here at the bottom, you have like this little menu with this little arrow. If you click on that, you can actually change the units. So I normally have it at imperial, which is feet and inches. You can also change it to feet, only to inches, to meters, centimeters, millimeters. You can do whatever you want. Now you can see that the wall right now, it's pretty simple, but you can actually change the style of this wall. If you click on it, you're gonna see this panel, or this properties panel is gonna show up. And what you wanna do is you wanna click on this tile, and you can actually change the style of the wall. So you can change here on edit, and it's gonna change them all. So let's say I wanna change the thickness. I can make them all thicker. So if you do that, it's gonna make them thick like that. Let's just make it this thickness, which is 7.87 inches. And for now, I'm just going to show you how to do all of this so that you can change the style anytime that you want. So for example, for exterior walls, let's say that you want to change the color, the fill. So let's say you want to do gray, or probably a lighter gray. And then you can also change the opacity. So that's a bit of a darker one, but you can also make it a bit lighter if you want. Probably we'll just leave it like that. You can also change the stroke, so that is like the outline. So if I change it to green or to black, to blue, you can do so many things, which is really so much fun. You can also change the opacity of the stroke and the weight, and also the line type. So you can make it solid or dash or dotted. So much fun to do this, and this is how you change the style. One thing that I want to say is if you click on the style and you only change it from here, it's not going to change them all, because you're only talking about this one wall, but you would have to go to edit to change them all together. So if I go to edit, let me just undo that action. If I go to edit, then if I change the thickness, it's going to change all of them. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. You actually want to edit the style so that all of your wall change all together. Okay, so this is how you would create a very simple floor plan. I know that this is only walls. I haven't taught you how to make windows or doors, but bear with me because we are covering that very soon. I'll see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson, we're going to be learning how to create a floor plan from a file. So this is where I left off in the last lesson. So we're just going to go back to the home menu. So you just want to click on the hamburger menu and click on back to models. And for now, we're just going to delete. Well, actually, you could leave it. I'm just going to delete it because I don't need this for now. So we're going to do another file. So we're going to create new model. And then here we have another file. So what I want to show you is how to import a new file into your model so you can start tracing over it if you ever need to do this. So a lot of the times for design projects, we are given floor plans and then we have to do like a renovation or change some walls, but we have to work with an existing floor plan. So I'm going to show you how I would do that. And first we're going to be using an image file, and then we're going to be using a DWG file, so an AutoCAD file. So this is the image that we're going to be importing. I will leave the link in the description of this video. It's going to say something like image floor plan, and then you can go to this website and then you can just right click on it and save the image. And once you save that image into your computer, you can go back to Rayon and then import it. So just click on image, and I'm just going to click on my image. So once you bring your image, you can start tracing over it. So if you click on it, you can actually see that here on your layers, it's going to be a new layer because you have a new image. So you can either hide it or you can lock it. I would recommend you to lock it so that you do not accidentally delete it. You can also right click on it and either unlock it, and then you can also lock it from here. Up to you. So just to make this course as easy and as fast for you, we're going to be working with this image. But you can also import an AutoCAD file. So let's do that. So there is another link in the description of this video that says AutoCAD file floor plan. If you go to that link, it's going to take you to this website, which is BiblioCAD, and it has many different AutoCAD files that you can download. You might have to create an account if you want to download something. You do not need to do this if you don't want to, but if you want, I encourage you to do it. So if you create an account with BiblioCAD, a completely free account, you can actually just download the house project from the Barcelona Pavilion. So all you need to do is look for the Barcelona Pavilion. The second one, designed by modern architect Mies van. And then you search for it, and it's going to be this file. So you want to download this file. It's a DWG file, so it's an AutoCAD file. You want to download that into your computer. Once you have done this, you go back to Rayon. And in Rayon, you can actually import the file directly. So go to import and DWG file. And then I'm just going to look for it. It's this one. And then it's going to come as line work. So what it is doing here, it's trying to guess how long this line is, just to give you like a better scale. But if you're not sure what it is, and I always just do I'm not sure, because I really don't know. And you can also change it to imperial, but I'm still going to say I'm not sure, and then I'm going to scale it later. So I'm just going to do I'm not sure, and I'm going to import that right into the model. It's asking you to pick an insertion point, so we're just going to pick here, and it is so tiny because it's not to scale, of course. So if you zoom in, you can see that this is the AutoCAD file, and it has come as line work. So you can actually choose these lines, you can move them. So this would be an AutoCAD file, and you can actually here change things and add walls. You could trace your walls over. So this is the AutoCAD file. You can see they're all line work. Everything has been brought into as line work. This is actually also line work, hatch, everything. So what you could do is you could scale this. So for example, if we measure this door, in order to scale a plan, you need to know at least one measurement. So let's say that this is 6 feet. So of course that it is not to scale. So right now it's not 6 feet. So what we're gonna do right now, it is 0.08 inches. So it is extremely tiny. So what we want to do is we want to scale it. So to do that, you want to go to, let me just find it, to the scale tool. And then you need to select what you need to scale. So I'm just going to select the entire AutoCAD floor plan, and then click on the check mark. And then what it is asking you to do is to pick a first point. So this is going to be the measurement that you are familiar with. So for example, I know that a wall would typically be 3 feet or 6 for the double doors. So we're just going to do 6. So I'm going to place my cursor here, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the other side. And this distance, it is 6 feet. And then click enter, and then it's going to scale it. And now it is even bigger than our image that we have here. And as you can see, all of the layers are imported from AutoCAD. So you would have to delete all of those layers if you want. So this is the image that we imported earlier. I'm just going to lock that again. And this is the AutoCAD floor plan that we brought in. So you could easily just work from here and kind of like just follow this line work. Like if you want to create the walls, you would just activate your wall tool, and you could easily just create walls over this AutoCAD floor plan. Maybe you want this to be a bit thicker. So maybe like that. And then you can do everything over the AutoCAD floor plan if that's something you want to do. But I don't want to make this too complicated because it's so much line work. You could lock it if you want so that it doesn't go anywhere. So you can do that for sure. But just to make things simpler for you, and probably you don't want to have to go through all this process of downloading the AutoCAD file and just bring it in here. We're just going to work with the image, which is the exact same floor plan. But I just wanted to show you how you would import an AutoCAD file. And probably later, we're actually going to be working with a section. So we might use this one. But for now, I just want to get rid of this because I'm not going to be working with that right now. So let me just try to find, so everything is being locked right now. So I would have to click on everything and unlock everything. So they're all unlocked now, and then I can just delete it. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I'm just gonna select everything and click on delete. And we're just gonna stick with the image. So the image, we also need to scale it. So if we measure this for now, it's going to be probably not to scale. So I'm using the door as a reference. So it is not to scale because it's saying that it's 1 inch and these doors are 6 feet. Actually, it's saying 1 feet. So we're gonna change this. So we wanna go to the scale tool, scale, and then select the elements to scale. So we're just gonna click on the image, and then we're gonna click on the checkbox, and then it's telling you to pick a point. So we're just gonna pick the point here in the door, and then all the way to the other side of the door, and then see 6 feet, and it's scaled the floor plan. Let me just close my layers. And it's supposed to be to scale now. So let me just double check. So distance, if I click on one side and on the other, that's roughly 6 feet. Let me check these doors. So you just want to make sure that the measurements make sense. So this is like 2 feet, which is like a tiny door. So that seems to scale. And I know that this image is a little bit blurry, but you would probably, like if you're doing this in the future, you would probably have like a better quality image. It doesn't really matter that much because we're going to do everything from scratch, but this is how you import an image. So one thing that you need to know, if you are going to import something into your model while you are here on the model, you can only import something that is smaller or up to 2 megabytes. But if you want to import something directly to the home page, so if I go back to models, so instead of creating a new file and then importing your image to that new file, you can just do it from here. And here you can do up to 10 megabytes. So the file limit is bigger if you're importing your file right into the home page, which is here. But if you're doing it inside of an existing file, you can only do up to 2 megabytes. So I'm just going to show you how that would look. So if I click on import and bring my image, so it's bringing my image, and then you need to choose like a dimension that you are familiar with. Let me just zoom in. So I'm going to use that same door that I was using as a reference. Let me just zoom that. This could be a bit hard, but for now we're just going to eyeball it. So this would be roughly 6 feet, and then we import that. Okay, so now it is converting my model, and you can open it up. It's this one, and the name would be the image name. You can also change it. Let me just say image floor plan. So it is a similar process of what we did before, but now it should already be to scale. So let's double check with the distance tool. So yeah, so 6 feet for that. So those are the 2 ways that you can use to really import an image or an AutoCAD file. Give that a try, and in the next lesson, I'm going to be showing you how to actually create the floor plan from these imported files. I'll see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson I'm going to show you how to start drawing your own floor plan. So if you remember in our last lesson, I showed you how to import the image, which we're going to be using as a reference to create our own floor plan. So we're going to go to that model. So we're just going to click on that model. And here we have the image. So you want to make sure that it is to scale. And I already showed you how to scale your floor plan, but I just want to double check that this is to scale. So I'm using this door as a reference. I do know that a typical door is 3 feet in width. So for a double door would be 6 feet. So this is about right. So I'm just going to leave it like that because I know this is already to scale. So the first thing you want to do is you want to lock this image so that it does not go anywhere. So you can either right click on it and then lock it, or you could also go to your layers and find it there. It's this one, and then you can lock it from here. Either way is okay. So now we're just going to start drawing our floor plan on top of this image. Let me close this off. So there you go. So you can type either W or just go to your wall tool, which is going to be down here. Click on that, and then we're going to start drawing walls on top of the existing wall. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be duplicating exactly this floor plan, but keep in mind that if you're working on a project and it's renovation, let's say that you decide to not include this wall, because this would be like an existing floor plan. So if you're doing like a renovation and you're doing some changes, then you would have to do those changes on the spot for your new floor plan. But for this course, I'm just teaching you how to actually use all the tools, and then in the future you can create your own floor plans as you wish. So let's begin. So I'm going to start by tracing all the walls. So this wall, I'm guessing that it is, actually let's go back to the default tool. So right now we have the wall tool active, but if you want to just close it off, just click escape on your keyboard and it's going to go back to the selection tool, which is your default tool. So I'm going to measure these walls because I want to know roughly, so they're like 5 inches, and that's what I'm going to create, 5 inches thickness for the walls. So I'm going to go back to my wall tool, and then I'm going to start drawing the wall. So you can see here that this wall is probably not 5 inches. So if we click on it and then we go to our properties panel, you click on the default wall, which is the one that is active, and it's actually 3 inches and this fraction. So it is not 5 inches and we need it to be 5 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new style. So you're going to click on this arrow, drop down menu, and you're going to click on the plus, and you're going to create a new style. So you want to click on the edit style button and then you want to name it. So I'm just going to be very simple and just do 5-inch wall just to keep things organized. And here you can change the thickness. So where it says thickness, you're going to click on the 3 dots and then you can change here the thickness. So I'm going to do let me just do 0.6. No, I'm going to do 6 inches. So this is half a feet, so it is 6 inches. So let me just make sure that I am in Imperial. Yeah, and I'm Imperial. So it's actually going to be 6 inches because that's more common for exterior. We could even do 8, but the one from the existing floor plan is not that thick. So we're just going to leave that like that. So as you can see here, I have half a feet, so 0.5 feet, but here it's going to say that it's 6 inches. So if I change this to, let's say 0.30, it's going to tell me how much inches here. So if I do 0.70, here it's being very exact. So here I can just use decimal, and here it'll tell you the inches. And if you're doing millimeters or centimeters, then it would be easier. So let me just go back here, and now you can actually change the style. So we probably want this to be a different color. So let me just do like normal, and probably I will change this later. I'm just going to do like a gray, and I'm going to do it a bit lighter. No, actually I'm just going to do this. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So once I have created my first wall, you can actually create the other ones. So I'm just going to do that very quickly, and then you do all the way around. Here you can see that this is actually a glass, this part, but I'm gonna do a wall and then I'm gonna bring in a glass. Here where we have a door, we also have a wall, and then we're gonna open that up for the opening. So we're just gonna keep going. So wherever I have glass or doors, I'm just gonna do walls, and then I'm gonna create openings for those doors or for the glass, which is very similar to a BIM workflow. So if you've ever worked with Revit, Vectorworks, it's a very similar workflow with these tools in Rayon. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to do the same here. So I'm just going to do all around. And I'm being a little bit careless about being very exact. Okay, so now we're gonna add our doors. which are here and also here. So I'm going to introduce you to what it is called blocks in Rayon. So in the beginning, you're not going to have any blocks. You have to import them, and you can also create libraries with blocks, which we're going to be creating in the future. But for now, we're just going to use some existing blocks so that you can create your floor plan very quickly. So what you want to do is you want to go to this cube. So these are your blocks. If you click on that, you can either go to your blocks, which are going to be like freestanding blocks, or libraries, which are libraries that contain many blocks inside of them. So here you can see that some of the blocks are available with the Pro subscription, but you also have some blocks that you can use with the free subscription. So you just want to go to blocks and you want to open your libraries. You haven't added any blocks into this specific model, so that's why this is empty. So you can open the libraries and you can search here, for example, door, and then all of the blocks that have doors are going to be visible, and also the libraries that have blocks that are doors inside of them. I hope that makes sense. So there's one library with doors in them, and then there are actually 108 blocks that are actually doors. So we're just going to use something. So we're going to use this one. You can use whatever you want, and you want to import that. So once it is imported, it will have this check mark, and if you go to blocks, it'll be here. So here you can either delete it, you can insert it, rename it, you can select it, you can do all types of things. So what you want to do is you want to insert it, and it's going to be inserted into your floor plan. So here you can actually change the orientation, and you can also rotate it. So we're going to rotate it until it's like that, and then we can actually move it to place it here. So you can see something very interesting. Once I place the block, the door, on the wall, it already creates an opening. So this saves you so much time. So we're just gonna move that, and then we're gonna flip it because it's actually on the other side, and then we're gonna flip it again. Oh, hold on. There you go. And there you go, you have a block. Now you can do exactly the same thing, but what I will do is I'm gonna copy this. So I'm gonna click on this, and then I'm going to type CC, and then I'm going to move it, and it creates a copy automatically. So type CC, or you can also use a tool, which is going to be here, copy tool. I just like to use the shortcuts, and then you can change the alignment. It's actually, hold on, it's, come on, okay, like that, and then, no, like that. And then you have your block. So we're just going to move it a little bit so it does not have this wall in the middle. And there you go, you have your block. If you actually move the wall, the door is going to move with it. So it's very convenient, super fast to create doors for your plan. So we're going to do that for the other one. So there you go, I have my doors. I have doors here. I also have some doors here. Here the doors are a little bit smaller, so you can just look for a smaller door. So if we search for doors, so one thing to keep in mind, when you're copying an object, you click on it, you type CC, and then you have to click, and then you have to click again to insert it in this wall. Okay, so for now we're just going to leave this like that, and there you go, we have doors. So now I'm just going to hide my existing floor plan so that I can see what I have been creating. So as you can see, this is looking very neat. So there you go, our floor plan, it is coming together little by little. As you can see, the workflow, the speed at which I'm doing this is just insane. So I'm really excited for you to keep creating this floor plan. In the end, it's going to be very, very nice. I'll see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson we're going to be learning how to add our windows, and we're also going to be learning a bit more about furniture and how to add different pieces of furniture, how to work with them. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to add my windows. So you can add windows wherever you want in your floor plan. There's really not a rule that you have to follow. You can either follow the existing floor plan from this Barcelona house, or you can actually add windows wherever you want. So let's just start adding our windows. So you want to go to your blocks, and then you want to go to libraries, and then you can just search for a window, And you will see that there are many different types of windows that you can choose from. So I'm just gonna choose a very simple one. I want to import it to my model first, and it is here now. And then you can just drag it. And by the way, you can also rename it. You can just do window house. I don't know, if you want to rename it, you can also do that. And you can just bring it in. You can just drag it. So I'm going to add a window here on this wall, and it's already created the opening. So this is the window, and you can just click on it and just stretch it all the way through, and you will see that your window will automatically stretch, and you have a window there. So you can add as many windows as you want. When you add your window, it's going to tell you how many windows are of this block. So right now there's one. If I add another one, then this number is going to change to 2. And I'm gonna do a window here because I think there is a window here. And to be honest, you can just create your own design and you can improvise. So we're gonna add a window there. We could also add a window. I think this is enough for now. You could actually make this a window. Or this may be a window, or you can make it like many windows. For example, you can add a window and then add another one. You could also add a third window. If you want to copy an existing window, I already told you how to do that. You can either do CC or just use the tool here, or you could also right click on it, copy, and then paste, and then you can just move it. So there are many ways where you can do similar things in Rayon. So it's very convenient. So probably you want to have 3 windows there. So anyway, just do whatever you want with here the windows, and once you have done that, you can actually change the style. But before we do that, we're actually going to add the furniture. So if I search here for furniture, you can so you can search for furniture. There are many different libraries with many different types of furniture. So there are for kitchen, there are for living room. All of those are for the living room. So let's just try to add something from here. Okay, so I'm just going to the basic blocks library, and I can add some furniture. So right now I'm adding furniture, and you can see that when you add it, you can actually resize it to whatever you want. So it's very convenient. If you want to do that, you can also flip it. So let's say we get rid of that, and then we can just copy and paste. Another way of creating copy is just by typing Control Copy and then Control V, and it's going to paste it. Okay, so I'm doing something a bit wild here. I want to add like a bigger dining table here on this side, so we're just going to move this. It would be like a really nice outdoor area. So you can have a lot of fun designing your own floor plan. Okay, so I'm adding the toilet right now. I'm just going to flip that. To me, it's crazy that in the past, this type of washrooms were very common, where the toilet is separated by a wall and a door, which is something that we do not really do nowadays. Like if I were designing this, probably I would just move this to the middle and then just add here a sink. So we're probably gonna do this one. We go to the blocks, we look for it. Where are you? So it's in this drop down menu, and we just bring it in. We can just rotate it. And the cool thing is that all these blocks, you can resize them so easily. So if I show you here how I would do that, you can just resize it. So to add a cabinet, you can either create your own block, but we're gonna get into that in another lesson. But a very quick way of doing it as well is by just drawing a normal rectangle like that. And then you can just change the style, and you can give it a fill. So for example, like a white. And there you go, you have your cabinet. And then you will just bring this, and you can see how it is under and you want it to be over. So you just want to go to your layers, and the sink, you want to bring it on top of the rectangle so that it actually sits on top. And here, this one, you can also resize it. You can place the sink on top. You can change the stroke if you need to. That's a very quick way of just adding your cabinet. So we're probably going to leave this like that, and we can actually just hide this to see how this is coming together. So you could add more furniture if you want, you could add tables, you could add as many things as you want, have some fun with it. There are many blocks that you can choose. And there's actually a way to get access to more blocks, but I will be showing you that in the next lessons. For now, just use the blocks that are here. If you want to get your Pro subscription now, just to get access to all of those, that would be a good idea, just if you want to just have much more variety of blocks. But if you want to continue with the free account, that's also okay. There are still many options that you can choose from. So I will see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson I'm going to show you how to add zones to your floor plan. So let's get right into it. So zones are very helpful when you are wanting to change the flooring in your floor plan. So let me show you how that works. The first thing that you need to know is that a zone will be created if you activate the tool, if you have like a wall enclosure. So for example, I'm just going to do here, just to not mess up my floor plan, a wall enclosure. And then you can go to the tool, which is this one. You can type Z on your keyboard, you click on it. If you click on the interior of those walls, it's going to create a zone for you. Now, if you were to actually draw a wall in the middle of this room, and then you activate the zone tool, you're going to click once, it's going to create one zone, but because there's a wall enclosure, it's not creating a zone on the other side unless you click on that side as well, like that. So those are two zones. If you delete this, then it's going to be one zone and it's going to be all messed up. So this is how it works in theory. I'm going to delete this. So let's look at our floor plan and see how that would work. So if I click on my zone tool and then I try to add a zone to my floor plan, it's going to create a zone in the entire floor, because it is just detecting the exterior walls as a wall enclosure. But let's say that you want to divide this into two zones. Let's say that you want your living room to have like a different flooring or a different texture, a different color than your dining area. So how would you do that? So you're going to use a zone divider. Right now, if I were to click, it's just going to create one zone, like you see here. I can move this. Let me just try to move this. Yeah. And then you can leave it like that. But I actually want different flooring for this area than this area. So I'm going to undo that action, just pressing Ctrl Z. Let me just get rid of that. Okay, so back to square one. So now we are going to learn a new tool, which is the zone divider. So this is going to divide the zones that you want to divide. So for example, if I want my dining area to have a different flooring, you're just going to draw a line where you want that to be different. You're going to bring it all the way. And now when I click on my zone tool, it's going to create two zones. So I can do one click and then go back to my zone tool and then do another click. And now I have two different zones. And now I can customize each one of them. This one, you can move the title. You can make it bigger. If you double click on it, you can edit it, and then you can change the name. So for example, if I want to do here, dining area, and then the check mark. And then for this one, you might want to do, oops, you might just want to do like, let me edit that. You can do here, living area, and you can either leave the square meter count or you can delete it. Let me see if it, yeah, you can actually delete it. I'm going to leave it for now. Just click on the checkbox and we're just going to put it here. So that is how easy you can create your zones. But let's say that you don't have any wall enclosure, and that would be the case for the exterior. Let me just bring in my existing floor plan just to show you. So for example, here we also have flooring on this area. Let me see, why is it not? Oh, okay, because this is actually on top of that. So that is why it's covering everything. So you can bring this layer. Okay, so I have created a new layer to add all of this. You don't need to do this right now. You can just create everything on the default layer. But if your image is covering everything that you have created, it's just because your layer is on top of it. So just make sure that your image, which is this image, is underneath your other items. Okay, so now let's add the zoning for the exterior, which is all of this, because there's actually all of this area that it's not enclosed by any sort of wall. It's like an exterior patio, like a huge terrace. So how would you do that? So I'm gonna grab my zone, and in this process I do need to be a little bit patient. I'm gonna start here. I'm just gonna start adding outlines where the flooring is gonna be. So I'm just gonna do this all the way. And I'm going to just do the flooring for my, I'm just gonna come here all the way. Make sure I am as precise as possible. And we're gonna be able to make this a bit more perfect. But it's good to get it right from the beginning. Oopsie. So I messed it up a little bit. Okay, anyway, okay, we're just gonna do, oops, just here and here. And let's just finish that off. And this is where we started. So now we have the zone for our exterior area. So here you can see that I have a wall that is underneath it. So let me just hide the zone. And then this one, I'm going to click on it. So it's that wall. So I'm going to bring it on top of the zone. So let me just, it's this wall. Where's my zone? Oh, actually I have to bring it to the, okay, so this zone, I just have to bring it underneath that wall, wall 11. There you go. So now when I make this visible, the wall is going to be on top and not under the zoning, like this. And I would have to do the same for the windows. Okay, so now what you want to do is change the color and the style of the zoning. So I'm going to hide my floor plan. So this is how our floor plan is looking right now. So this is actually a pool. You can create another zone for the pool. And for the other zones, you can either add a different color. So for example, let's do like pink. And then here you can add, maybe we leave that blue. And then for the exterior, you can add a yellow. It looks a bit crazy. Like that. And you could also add different textures. So for example, let's say that you want that to be a bit more realistic. You want to add like flooring. You can add more flooring types from here. Let's say you want to just do concrete. You can also edit those and you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can rotate them. So for example, if you were to do, I don't know, something like this, you can actually rotate it and then you see how it is rotating. But I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go back to probably something like this. And for the interior, you could also add like a different texture, like realistic, or you can also add your own images or different hatches. For example, something like this. I'm just showing you, and then you are free to do whatever you want with your flooring. But I just want to show you the different options. So I'm just going to leave one like that. I just want to show you how you would do something like this. So for example, there we have that. So for example, this zone, you can see that it's covering all of your furniture. So that's an easy fix. You just want to make sure you bring that to the bottom of all of that furniture. So your zones will be like at the bottom because that's your flooring. So it's like at the bottom of everything. So I would just make sure that I have that at the bottom layer and not at the top layer, because otherwise it's going to cover the furniture. And also for this one. So I'm just going to bring that all the way. And if you think that this is getting too confusing, you can also rename all of your layers. So for example, you click on that and you can just do here, I don't know, flooring, dining area, and then here flooring, living area. And that would be an easier way to kind of like not get lost with this, because I know it can get a little bit crazy with the layers. And the last thing that I want to say is that if you have already created your zone but you want to change something, you can do that by editing the zone. So for example, you click on it, you edit, and then you can move these nodes just to adjust it. So for example, here, I would want to adjust that a little bit. And here. So just be patient and you can adjust that. Oh, so this is not flushed, so. Okay, and once you are finished, you click on the check mark and you are good to go. Okay, so that was quite a lesson. You can add the zoning, you can also add here the pool, and you can give it a color, or you can even import an image of a pool after you create the zone, and you will just add your image here. So let me just remind you again. So you got an image, you can just look for an image of water or something, and then you bring that in, see how that looks, or just use the default materials or the textures or the hatches that are available here in Rayon. Okay, so I will see you on the next lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to work with layers, and I think it's a very important lesson because up until now I haven't really talked about layers very much in detail, but I think it's a very important topic to keep your model organized. And when I was starting to use Rayon, I found layers a bit complicated. I just couldn't understand some things, but now that I have a very good understanding of how to work with layers, I can tell you that it's not complicated, but I just need to tell you some things regarding layers. So this is the floor plan that we have been working with, and I've already added some furniture. So if you haven't done that, make sure to just fill in your plan just to make it more appealing and more nice. So let's talk about layers. So the layers are gonna be here on the bottom, and you can also access them up here. So these ones are your layers, or here. If you click on this drop-down menu, you can see that you might have different layers. Yours may be a bit different depending on what you have imported. If you imported an AutoCAD file, all of those layers of that file are going to be imported automatically into this model. So anything that you import and has layers on it, those layers are going to come into the model. So also for the blocks, and you might not have this new layer, which is okay. So here's where you can actually set the active layer. So right now it is set to default, and that's what it's going to be automatically. If you haven't never touched this button, whenever you draw anything, and if you do not assign it to a specific layer, it's automatically going to go to the default layer. So you can actually change the layer that you want active. So if I click on this one, then that's going to be the active layer. So let's see here what are the other options for layers. So if you click on this little icon, it's going to open up the layers menu, and here you can do more things with layers. So I currently have 3 layers, and within each layer I actually have a drop-down menu, because these ones are all the elements that are inside of that layer. So if you click on the layer, it'll open up all the elements that are within that layer. If you click on it, it's going to collapse all layers. So if you have, let's say, many different layers open and it starts to get a bit messy, to close all of that off, you can just click on this button which says collapse all. You click on that and it's going to close them all. Now, if you click on this new icon, it's going to create a new layer. Why would you want to create a new layer? It's very important that you organize all of your items in your floor plan. So I would recommend you to have a layer for your walls, a layer for your windows, a layer for your furniture, probably a different layer for the people, a different layer for plants, maybe for millwork. It's really up to you how many layers, and this is going to make your model more organized. You can have as many layers as you want or as little as you want, as long as you know that the model is organized. So let's try to organize our layers, because right now it's a bit of a mess. So we're going to create a new layer for floor, for the zoning. So zones, we're going to create a new layer for the walls, and you can also create one for exterior wall, one for interior. It's all up to you. We're going to create a new layer for furniture. Hit enter, and you're going to create a new layer for what else? For windows. We don't have many windows, so to edit it, you just double click on it, windows, and then hit enter. So now I have 4 layers. So right now it's a bit of a mess on my model and probably on yours too. So you can see how you have, like, in this layer you have different elements which are like walls and tags and the zoning separator, and then on this default one you have some chairs, some furniture. So you see how I'm clicking on this and they get highlighted, all the elements. So that's how you would know where they are located on your model. So you have one zone 5. So it is a mess. So what you're going to do is you're going to start organizing all of this. So for example, all my walls, so all these elements are going to go into the walls layer. So I'm just going to drag that, and now you can see that I have it here. If you click on this, you can actually hide it. So we're going to do that later, but first I just want to bring all my walls to the wall layer. So you can select many of them at the same time by clicking Shift on your keyboard, and you can slowly move them up. And this can be avoided if you first create your layers, but it is what it is. So I have my walls there. So what I want to show you is that if I hide this, it's going to get rid of the walls that are already there. So I'm still missing some walls here. So let me bring that back. I'm just going to click on all of this. I'm clicking Shift to make sure I select all of them, so it is faster, and I'm going to just drag them. I've tried to do it like, yeah, you can do it in one go, but you might struggle. So let me just make sure that is there. So all of my walls should now be on the walls layer. Let me turn that off to see if they all go away. So yeah, those are all my walls. So one thing you need to know as well is that if you have this as an active layer, so let's say I activate the walls. So that's the active layer now. The blue check is there. You will not be able to hide it because it's the active layer. So you have to make something else active in order to be able to hide or to lock these walls. If you lock it, it means you won't be able to move it, which is good in certain scenarios. For example, for your zoning, you wouldn't want to accidentally move this. Another way to categorize your elements and bring them onto a specific layer is by selecting them on the floor plan. So you can just select, let's say, all the zones. So 1, Shift, so that you select everything. So those are all my zones. And here in the properties panel, you see here that it belongs to the default layer. You can change that. So let me just click on the zones layer, and they're all going to be in the zones layer now. So now what I like to do is I like to turn it off just to make sure that all of them are in there, and they are all there. Let me bring them back. And you would want to do the same thing for the furniture and as well for the windows, if you have any windows. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to categorize all my furniture. So I find that just selecting all of my items makes it a bit more faster just to bring them to a layer. You could also do a different layer for the people if you have many people. So all of this would be furniture. You could also have a different layer for your appliances or for your your millwork. But for now, we're just going to put everything into furniture just for simplicity. And now it is all there. So you can see that your furniture is going away. Maybe this one, you also might want to put it in the furniture. It's not ideal, but I don't want to spend too much time, and I just want you to get the idea of this. Okay, so let me bring all of my layers. And remember that if you have, let's say, if I bring the zones above the furniture layer, it's going to be overlaid on top of the furniture. So that's something that you want to make sure that you tackle. So for example, you want to look at your plan and see if everything is looking good, or you have to modify the order of some layers. So for example, here this zoning is kind of covering the wall, and I would want the wall to be above. So what I will do is I will put the wall on top of the zoning, and now it changes to be on top of that. So the whole idea of this is to make your plan as nice as possible. For example, here the zoning, it is above the window. So if I create a window layer, I would have to put that on top. Or what you can also do is you can just edit this, as I already told you, and you can just make this a bit more precise. And just check that. So you want to make sure that everything in your plan is looking sharp. You don't want to have like things that are not looking good, because it's just not professional. Now, if you want to customize this color that is next to the layer, like the layer color, what you want to do is when you create the layer, you are going to click on it, and then here you can change the color. You can also give it a name here instead of doing it here. And you can change the color. You can add your custom colors, like if you have like specific palette, you can also do that. So that's another way where you can like customize all of these colors. So I think that is it for the layer lesson. I hope that this makes sense. Just make sure that you keep everything organized. It is super important. Okay, I will see you on the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson I want to talk to you about styles. It's going to be a very fun lesson because we're going to change the look of our model quite drastically, so I'm excited for that. But before I do that, I want to just do a bit of a recap about the last lesson, just to make sure that you have your model organized. So we talked about layers in the last lesson. So the layers that I would recommend you to have is a layer for your windows, for your doors, for your furniture, for your walls, for your zones. And the default layer, it's already going to be there. Normally, here's where I keep the image of the original existing floor plan, but I normally have that off because I don't need it anymore. You're probably going to have also one layer for the imported blocks. So these are all your blocks, but don't worry about that one because you also have them in your other layers. The tags is where you have your tags. So when you create a zone, you will see that you are going to have a layer that's called tag, and you may have more than one. So those are these little tag names. So I went ahead and changed the names for all of them. So you just double click on them and just change the name for them. But the reason that you want to have a tags layer separate from your zones layer is that your zones are going to be all the way underneath, and your tags have to be on the very top above of your furniture. If you were to have the tags in the same layer as the zones, or you would have them like, let's say here, then you may not actually see them because your furniture would be above. Because as I told you, the order of your layers matters. So the ones that are at the top are gonna be on the top in your floor plan. So I'm just gonna bring my tags all the way up just to make sure that they are visible. And then the actual zone, which is this one, would be all the way to the bottom. And I changed the name. I just named it the floor and then the name of the room. So that is that. If you create a layer by accident but it has nothing, so let me just, for example, do a new layer. So for example, those new layers have nothing on them, so you can just go to this little icon and just delete the unused layers and they're going to go away. So you can see here that I accidentally put my tags layer inside of my Windows layer. So that's something you can do, but I don't want to be I don't want it to be like this. So I'm just gonna, let me make this other, sorry, I just need to delete. Yeah, so if you grab a layer, you can put it inside of another layer. I normally don't do that because I think it makes things more complicated than they should be. But yeah, make sure that you have at least your tags at the very top, your zones at the very bottom, walls, and everything organized like this or in a similar way. Okay, so now let's get into the styles lesson. Let me close this off. Okay, so styles are very important because they will determine how we are going to see our plan in a visual way, and this is how you can customize the visual of your floor plan. It's basically rendering your floor plan, which is very, very exciting. So where are your styles? They're going to be up here in this paint bucket tool. So you can click on that and you will see that you will have many different styles. You can do different styles for walls, for shapes, for text, for legends. I'm not going to get into that just now, but just so you know, you can actually create styles for all different types of elements in your floor plan. So if you hover over any style that you have here, you will see that you can either select it. So if you select it, it will actually get highlighted. So for example, I'm selecting this one and it's this yellow one. And if you edit it, you can change the properties. So you can change the color here, you can make it purple, you can change the opacity, you can do all sorts of things. You can also change the stroke. So this is the outline of the style. You can change the weight of the stroke and the dash. So that would be like this outline that is surrounding the shape. Okay, so for example, if I click on this zone, I can here go to the properties panel and click on the style, which is this one, and I can change the name just to identify it. So I'm just gonna say terrace style. And here I can change the texture, the solid. I already told you how you can do this. Let me just go back to the gray one that was there. I think that's the one that was there. And you can change the stroke. So the stroke would be the outline. So you see how now it changes. It has a stroke. It looks a bit better. That stroke, which is the outline, you can make it a bit different in terms of the look. So you can make it dashed. You can make it dotted like that. Probably I would just leave it like that, just for now. And then that would change the look of it. So the same thing for the pool. If you find it here under the styles menu, you can just select it, you can edit it, and you can change the stroke. Probably we can give it a different stroke just to show you. And you can change the name here as well. So maybe you can do pool style. Now let's say that you want to create a brand new style. You can also do that. So if you click on this plus sign, you can create a new style for a shape. So let's see, we can just do new style and you can add a fill. You can create, let's see, probably we want to do something a bit different. Maybe we want to do a texture. Okay, so let's say you're going to add that. You can edit it, or you can also edit it later. You can change the opacity, the stroke, you already know this, and you can close that off. So that's your new style. So now let's say that you want to change your terrace flooring to that specific style. So you just want to click on it, and here you go to the style under shapes in the properties panel. And by the way, your zones, all they are is shapes. They are shapes. So that's how Rayon refers to them. So they are zones, but they're actually shapes. So that's why here, this is the shapes menu, and this is where you can change the style. So you can click on the terrace style and you can change it to be the new style. And it's going to change the style. And then if you want to edit that, once you have it here visible, you can actually change the properties. So you can make it bigger. You see how it is getting bigger, you can rotate it, you can offset it, so you move it. You can also change the exposure, the contrast to make it lighter, darker. You can play with different settings. And if you're happy with that, you would just leave it like that. Now let's say that you want to change the orientation. So you click on it, and here where it says styling, you can actually click on that, and then here you can move it. So this would be really good if you are creating like a floor plan, you know, like for your flooring, if you want this tile to be in a specific location, if you want the tile to begin here or wherever, you can just change, oops, do not move the shape, but just click on this blue dot, blue circle, and then you can change that. Okay, so you probably already know this and you've already seen it, but I just want to show you what other options you have for the fill. So you can either do a solid color, so that would be like just a color. You can add your own color here. You can type your code if you have one of a specific color. Oops, I closed it off. But you can also add a texture. Here you have many textures that are from Rayon. And you can also, I keep closing it, I'm sorry. And you can also do a hatch. So there's actually many hatches to choose from. So you can see there's all types of different bricks, strips, nature, decorative, so many options. Or you could add your own image if you want to do that. For now, I just want to go back to the texture and just leave that as it is. Actually, no, I just want to make it solid for now, and I'll probably come back later and change it. But let's say for the pool, let's say you want to add actual water. So if you click on that, make sure that you change the name just to keep things organized. And if you click on image, you can actually import either a PNG or a JPEG. So you can click on that. And then I'm going to click on the water image that I had already saved. So of course that this is looking awful, but you can edit it and you can change the exposure and the opacity. So let's say I want to make that a bit lighter. I'm not very convinced. Probably because the image is not helping as well. I don't know, but it is an option for you, and maybe just my image is crappy. So yeah, so that is styles. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is the walls and how you can change them. So let's say that you change your mind and you want these walls to be thicker than the interior walls. So you can click on them, you choose the style, and you can create a new style. So you go to the drop-down menu, plus sign, and here you can create a new style. So you can do 8 inches wall, and then you just want to change it to 8. Okay, so now all you have to do to change the other ones is just select them, and I can select them all at once. Of course, only the ones that you want to be thick. And then you can, let me, this one, and then here, instead of having the 6 wall inch, you just select the other one. And because they had different color, the color is also going to change. For the interior walls, you can also change the color. Remember that you have to click on edit so that all the interior walls change. Otherwise, if you just change it here, it's only going to change the one that I selected. So just go to the edit and then change the color, and they will all change. Okay, so for the furniture and for all of your people and everything, you can also add different styles. So you can create your own styles and then assign it to that style, or you can individually here just change the color for each one of them. You can also change the stroke if you want that, for example, to be blue, but then maybe this one is like that. So you can do that for every individual piece of furniture or every block. So do that for all of your elements. And the last thing that I want to share with you is your text. So your text can also have different styles. So just click on it, and then here go to text on your properties panel, and you click on the style. And here you have so many options. You can change the font, you can change the size if you think it's too big, too small. You can change the, let me just change the font just to show you. So let's say we want to do something like that. You can change the color, maybe purpley, and you can change the alignment, the baseline. So that is your text. So that wraps up this lesson. I know that it's probably a lot, but this is really the most fun part of the entire course, I believe, because you can actually customize your floor plan to be exactly how you want it to be. If you want it to have like a specific type of palette, if you want it to be all blue, or you want it to be realistic, so actually adding all of your flooring types and everything. You want it to be minimal, you want it to be black and white. So you can play with it and just really create some amazing floor plans. Okay, so I will see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson I'm going to do a bit of a recap of the things that we've talked about, and I'm going to give you some tips to make your model a bit more appealing, more beautiful, before we move into the next lesson, which is going to be a completely different topic. So the first thing that I want to share with you is the styles. So I already told you how to create your styles. If you can see, what I ended up doing for my model is that I have my walls in a blue color. I have my furniture with a stroke, an orange stroke, and the fill is a white solid color. So why do I recommend you to have a solid color? If your furniture has a style, let me go to the styles. So this is my style. If your furniture style does not have a solid color, let's say you give it a lower opacity, your furniture is going to be see-through. So you're gonna see the flooring underneath, and it just does not look as nice. So you can also choose a different color, like it doesn't have to be white. You can choose like a different color, but you see how right now you can see the tile underneath and it does not look very professional. So if you do like a solid, now I think that this is too dark, but you can also choose and create other different colors. But for me, I just want to leave it a bit more minimal, so I'll do white. Now for the walls, I do have a blue, and I have a bit of a lower opacity because there's nothing going through it, so I think that's fine. And for my people, I do have a fill, and it does also have a lower opacity, so it is a bit see-through for the people, but I think it just looks nice, and I don't have as many people in my model anyway. So we've already talked about styles, and that was a long lesson, but I just want to show you that here, if you create a different style, like let's say you create, I don't know, style 1. If your style is not being applied to any of your furniture or any of your elements, it's gonna have this trash option because it means that there's nothing inside of it. So you can just straight up delete it. You can also go here to this 3-dot menu and you can delete the unused styles, and you're gonna see how this one is gonna go away. So delete it. So this is a good way to kind of clean up your model and clean up your styles, just to make sure that you don't have anything that you are not using anyway. Now, let's say that you want to create a shape. You can just go here to this little drop down and you can create different shapes. You can create circles, rectangles, similar to what we did here with our cabinet. We created a simple rectangle. But let's say that you want to create a circle. Before you create the circle, the style that you used the last is going to be here. So you can actually change it. So you click on here and you can change it to a different style existing, or you can add your new style. So let's say that I want to do the people style, and then when I create my circle, it's already going to have that style applied to my new shape. Next little tip that I want to give you is your flooring. So for example, here you can see that you have a gap between the floorings, whereas here I've already fixed it. So your flooring is actually going all the way to the middle of the door, which is how it is supposed to be. So how do you fix this? Because we had already done this before. So yours is probably looking like this. So all you want to do is you want to click on the shape on this zone and you want to edit it. And now you can see that you have like these little nodes. You can actually add more nodes. All you need to do is just click this little button. You click on that and you can add 1 node, you can add 2 nodes. And once you have done that, you can move them and you can do this just to close that off, and you would do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna add one and then a second one. So this one is gonna go here, and this second one we're gonna bring it up till here. You could also add another one just to close this off. So let's say you can do one here, and this one bring it up. Or oops, maybe you bring it all the way to here. So you get the point. You would just need to kind of fix that. Now you click on the checkbox and there you go. And now it looks very nice. Okay, so the next thing that I want to share with you is you can actually group your blocks. Let's say that you want this arrangement, you want to move it somewhere else, but you don't want this arrangement to get messed up. So you will just select all of them, and you have to press Shift to do like a multiple selection. You right click on that and you group it. And now when you move that, it's going to move all together. If you ungroup it, it's going to be single pieces again. The last thing that I want to show you is how to create a curved wall. A curved wall will be created with your shapes. So you're going to use curve. So let's say for some weird reason you want to create a curved wall. So you create a curve, 2 clicks, 3 clicks. And right now it is applying this other style that has a fill, but we want to change that later. But before you end your selection, you're going to right click, you're going to validate the command. Now you can actually change the style because this one is not working. And once you have that, you can either offset it or you can create a copy. So let me just move it here so I can... You could also change the kind of like the curve shape. If you click on it and you edit it, you will see these nodes. So if you move these little nodes, you will be able to kind of like create different shapes. And if you want to go back to the original shape, you just click on the node and you click on this mirror option, and then it's going to create like the same curve on one side and also in the other side. So let's say that you want your curve to be like that. You're going to click OK, and then you can create an offset. So you click on that and click on the offset tool. If it does not work, I've found that sometimes it does not quite work, but it's okay because you can also create a copy. So you just copy and paste it, and then you offset it a little bit. So let's say that you want to make this way shorter. You can use your line tool. Line. Let's say that I want to get rid of all of this part. So I'm just going to do the line tool. And now I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to use the trim. There's many tools that I'm showing you right now. So you're going to select the elements that you want to trim. So I'm just going to select everything. You select the check mark, and then you're going to pick the things that you're going to want to delete. So just like that. Okay. And now we are just missing one line on the other side. One. So that would be a curved wall. I know it's not perfect because I didn't really take my time to make it perfect, but it gets the job done. Now to make this all together, one piece, you can group it, you can block it. Let's block it for now. I haven't showed you how to create custom blocks, but you can block it, and now this is going to be one piece. Okay, so that was a very short lesson. That was a bit of a recap of all the things that we have been doing. So I will see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson, you're going to learn how to create your own block libraries, how to create new blocks, how to import blocks. You've already been using some of the blocks that are available in the Rayon library, but there are more things to blocks than you know so far. So let's get right into it. Okay, so this is my model, but what I want to do now is I want to create a new model. So I'm going to go back to my models, and I'm going to create a brand new model. So new model. And we're going to go into the model. Now, you already know that your blocks are going to be hosted here. So Rayon has actually a collection of more than 2,000 blocks that are available for you to use. At this point, I would highly encourage you, if you are liking Rayon, if you are liking this platform, if you like how it works and the workflows, consider getting a pro account, because what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to create another model. So this is the new model that we are working on. So we've already created one. So right now you have 2 out of 3 that are available with your free account. But if you're going to continue doing more projects, then you will have to upgrade, because as I told you before, you only have access to 3 models with your free account, and you do not have access to all of the blocks that are here. You will have access to some of them. So what I will do is that I will upgrade at this point to my pro account, and I do encourage you to do that. You can watch this lesson first just to make sure that you want to get the pro account, or you want to stay for the free for a longer time. So let's get right into it. So let's say that we want to just grab any block. So let's say we want to bring this one, we want to import it, and now it's in my blocks collection, and I'm just going to bring that in. So this is my block. It is created by Rayon. Some of the things that you can do is you can edit them. You already know this. If you click on it, it's going to have this purple outline, which means it is selected, and you can edit it. Here you can change the color of the block. If you click on it, you can change its color, you can change the stroke. So you can change that, and now you can just accept those changes, and now your block is going to be slightly modified. You could also change those lines. If you copy this existing block with Control Copy, or you can do it with the command, or with here the tool, copy, you grab it, you create another copy. Because this is a block, if you change one of these, if you edit the original block, you're actually going to change all of them. So let me show you. So now they're all changing because I am changing the block. So all of them get modified. Another thing that you can do is that you can scale the block. So if you grab it here, you can scale it. Okay, so those are the blocks from the Rayon library. You could also create your own blocks if that's something you want to spend time doing. I normally don't do this because it is time consuming for sure, but you can do it if you want to. But let's say that you are going to do like a sofa, a bit larger. So you would use any of these tools to create your sofa. Now, let's say that this is my block. What I can do is I can first change the style. If I want to do that, I can add a fill. Maybe for this one, we can do like a different color. And now we can just select it and go to this drop-down menu and make it a block. Once you make it a block, the block is going to be added here into this folder. So right now we're creating our library. So all of my blocks are meant to be here in this model space, but they're also going to go here once you make them a block. Now, the third thing you can do is you can actually import blocks, CAD blocks, AutoCAD blocks into your Rayon workspace. So to do that, you want to go to this hamburger menu, import, and you want to go to DWG file. You already have to have a file. Just keep in mind that here you can only upload a file up to 2 megabytes. So I'm going to import my file. So this is my file. It's an AutoCAD file. It is a DWG file, like it says here. You open that, and you have to kind of like assess the scale. If you don't have a clue, then that's not a big deal. You can just say, I'm not sure. But it's always a good idea to just give Rayon a bit of a, idea so that it's not coming in a completely different scale. So let's say maybe this is 10 feet. I'm just going to say not sure because it's a tricky one. Okay, we're just going to click here and they are imported. So one thing, if they are already blocks from AutoCAD, then they're going to be here on your left side. If they are single lines like this one, Rayon is not going to detect them as blocks. So for example, these ones are all loose lines. It's not detecting them. What I will do, either you will have to make them blocks here, or when you are in AutoCAD, you make them a block before bringing it to Rayon. So I'm just going to delete this. I just wanted to show you. And let's say that I am happy with this ones. I'm going to bring those in. And if the scale is off, you can always scale them. If they're like looking a bit weird, and then you can like measure them just to make sure that you are using like the right sizes. So very similar to what we did in the beginning of the course, where we were doing the scale for our floor plan. So you measure, and then if it's wrong, you have to scale that again. If you don't remember how to do that, you can go back to that lesson where we talked about it. So let's say that I'm happy with those, and maybe I want to change the style, I want to change the fill. I can do that here. So right now I'm trying to change the fill, but it's only filling some areas. So I'm just going to change the outline. And this might be because the AutoCAD file might just be a bit weird. And Rayon may not identify that these ones are actually like closed areas that should be filled. So in this case, I would just like do outlines if you don't want to fill them in, or if you cannot fill them in. Okay, so let's say that I'm happy with all of those blocks and I want to make this a library. So the first thing you want to do is you want to change the name to your model. So you're going to double click there and just give it a name. I'm going to keep this very simple. This is going to be my library, Andrea's library. And now you can just share it. Okay, so to share it, you would have to get a pro account. So I'm gonna go ahead and create my pro account. And once you have created that, you can just toggle this on, and then your library is going to be able to be shared with other people. And they will be able to use this library and to have access to these blocks. If you go back to share, here you can create a public link, and everyone with this link will be able to see and to duplicate and to edit these blocks. Hello, in this lesson I want to talk to you about tables, a really cool feature here in Rayon. So let's get into it. So your table menu is going to be up here. If you click on that, you may not have this table. Just click on the plus sign and it's going to create a table for you. Now here you can see that you will have all your elements. Actually, you may only have your furniture. You may have everything, including walls, including zones. You can actually categorize them. So if you go to this little icon, you can add the categories. So if I add all of them, I'm going to see everything. My walls, all of the elements are going to be in this table. But let's say that you only want to categorize them by blocks. So it's only gonna show you your blocks. And let's say that you want to filter them, not filter them, sorry, but like you want to add the category, you want to add the column to identify them. So let's say I want to add the let's say the brand. So here it's gonna organize them by brands. So the IKEA ones, the generic ones, all of these ones are from Rayon, and Rayon already has these categories for these blocks. So how can you see the categories? So when you have any block, let's say this plant, it's gonna have a category and a brand for everything. So let's say this one, category and a brand. So those are the categories. Let's say you wanna add a category to this furniture or to a specific chair, for example, this one. You want to first click all the chairs that are like this one in your model, all the copies. So you want to right click and then you want to select similar. Once all of them are selected, you want to go to the properties panel, and then here you have a category, a brand. You can also add a new property. You click on this icon and then you are going to add the category. I already added, but let's say that I don't have that. So this is what yours is going to look like. You can add a new property, and here you can give it a name. So let's say pricing or price, and then you can select the type of the new property, add. Let's say this chair is going to cost $4.99. And now when you click on any of those, it's already going to have the price. If you go back to your table, you will see that the price will be here on the categories. So if you click on that, it's going to show you those furniture pieces that you've added a price to. So very, very useful. Now let's say that you want to delete this, you want to delete this. Let's say that you want to do zones only. So these are your zones, and maybe you want to categorize them by the area. So all the areas of your zones are going to be there. The cool thing is, if you kind of like change your layout, you move the wall, it's gonna get updated automatically. So you don't have to do anything. So that's pretty cool. It's a BIM feature. A lot of BIM software have this feature. So it's very fast, very convenient. You don't have to like manually change here and here. Once it changes here, it changes here. Okay, so once you're happy with your table, you can always export it and share it with other people. It's gonna export it as a CSV file. So that normally would be an Excel file. And you can use that data to order the items or to share it with people. So tables is a really cool tool for interior designers, for architects to organize, to kind of like just collect the data from this model. So you can actually like shop whatever you need or look into more information, detailed information for any of your elements, any of your pieces. So I will see you in the next lesson. Hello, in this lesson we're going to talk about pages and the way in which you can export your floor plan right into a PDF or a PNG file. So if you go here to the top menu, you will see that you have an icon that says pages. You click on that and here you can add all different pages for your floor plan. So if you click on the plus sign, you're going to add a page and here you will see this outline. So this is your new page. If you click on that, you can actually move it and you are able to resize it. But if you go to your properties panel, you can change the format. Now, if you have a free format, you will be able to change the width and the length independently. So it's not going to be with like a aspect ratio. But if you change it to, let's say we're going to do then it's going to kind of like lock the proportion. And then when you resize it, it's going to keep or maintain that proportion. So if you want to change the scale, and that will lock in the scale. But let's say that you want to add a new page. So you would just create another one. And then this one, let's say you want to just focus maybe on this area. And maybe you want another one. And these wouldn't be to scale. You can still do them to scale or you can change the orientation. But if you don't want them to scale, you can just leave them like that. And now when you export that, you can choose PDF or PNG. I will just do PDF for now. And now if you open that up, it's gonna export all of your pages. I was zoomed in all the way for this area and also for this one, so you can look at the details more closely, and then you have the overall plan, the entire plan as well. So let's go back here. So I'm going to delete those ones just for now. Now let's say that you're doing more like a professional presentation and you want to add a title block to this page. You can find the title blocks inside of your blocks and your libraries. Title block. For now, we're probably just going to choose this one. So once we have it here, we can resize it. Just make it fit there. And we can also change the style of the title block. So you can modify this information. You just double click on that. You can add the scale, the number for the page, and all of the information that you want there. And if you click on it, you could also change the properties here. So if you want to change this color to be like purple or whatever you want, you can also change this other section. You can change the entire color of your title block. Okay, and another thing that you want to make sure is that your page belongs to the page layer. So here where it says layer, you don't want it to be in any of these other layers. You want it to be assigned to the current page. Okay, so let's say that you are happy with your floor plan. Now you can export it. So just go back to the pages and you can export that. And that's how easy you can create a set of construction drawings with the proper title block for all of your floor plans, for your elevations if you're doing that, and for any of your plans that you have for your project. Another thing that I want to mention is that you can add annotations here on the canvas, arrows, text. You can also import images and bring them to the canvas, to your floor plan if that's something you want to do. Okay, I'll see you in the next lesson. Hello, this is officially the last lesson of the course. I want to say if you made it this far, I just want to say congratulations. It means that you are very committed and very determined to learn the tools to level up your design career, and that's something that you should be proud of. I put a ton of effort into making this course for you, to make it accessible and free for all of you to learn how to create these amazing floor plans. So I'm really happy for that. Thank you for watching all the way through. If you have any comments for me, any feedback or any questions, you can leave them down in the description of the video. And let's just get into the last lesson of the course. I am a bit sad that this is over, but I'm also happy because it's been just a lot of work put into this, and ultimately I just really hope that this helps you to create floor plans, to create projects, to use this for your portfolio. You can create so many projects for your portfolio, for real clients. You can do so much with these tools, which are free. If you get the pro version, it's definitely worth every penny. I think whether you are a student, whether you are a designer, a freelancer, it's a great tool at an affordable price, very easy to work with. The workflow is very streamlined. So I don't know, I'm a big fan of this tool, and that's why I'm showing it to you. Especially because I know that a lot of you struggle with other softwares such as AutoCAD, such as Revit. Those can be very complicated softwares. So if we can make this an easier process and still get a very similar or even a better result, then why not do it? Remember that there's a link in the description where you can create your account, and if you want to upgrade to the Pro, you will get 30% of that. So let's just get right into the lesson. So in this lesson, I'm just going to show you really the last tool that we're missing. We've basically covered everything, or I would say most of it, and still Rayon may have some updated versions, or maybe some tools get added in the future, because this software is not being on the market for a long time, so it's still evolving and changing, and overall all software is always changing and evolving. The last tool, so we've looked at everything up here. We've looked at layers, blocks, styles, pages, tables, but we are missing one little thingy, which is the comment section. So if you collaborate with other people, and I talked about this in the first lesson, but you probably already forgot because it's been a while. So let's go back here to our homepage. And here, if you go to the settings, you may remember that I told you you can add members to your organization. So this is my organization. So here you would just invite anyone who you want to be able to access your organization. So, and you can make them only a viewer or an editor. I would just make everybody editor so they can change things, unless you don't want them to even touch the floor plan. But anyway, once you invite people, they will be part of your organization. They can add comments, you can respond to them, and you can kind of like have a conversation in the model. So the first thing for the members of your organization to be able to interact with your model would be to share the model. And I already told you how to do that. You can create a public link, or you can publish the template. If this were to be like a template, you can just publish it. If this were to be like specific style, you can publish it. If this were to be like a block library, which we did a few lessons back, then you would just publish the blocks. They would have that access, and here the members would be visible of your organization. Right now I don't have anyone, but if you add someone, it's gonna be here. So anyway, once you've done that, then you can add comments. So you can create a new comment up here, and we're gonna click on the canvas, let's say here. And then you can create a new comment. How can we add a kitchen to this space? So that's a comment that I've created. It's gonna have like this little circle, which is the comment. If you click on that, you are going to see it. If this were to be another person commenting, I could reply here with something else. So here it's me talking to myself, but you get the point. Now here, if you click on these little dots, you could resolve the comment. So if this is already being figured out, you found the solution, you resolve it, and then it's gonna have a check mark. You could also add different emojis. So it's a very cool way of, just keeping a conversation. Here you can either only show the comments that are being solved, or only your comments, or add more comments. Okay, and the very last thing is annotations. So let's say you had this conversation, so now you want to like just do some mocking. So you go here to this comment section. Here you can comment as well from here, or you can annotate. So here you can draw Let's say if you're wanting to add a kitchen, we can probably have like a counter space and maybe an island with some chairs. And maybe this living room moves to this place. Maybe here we can have this table. So here we're changing the configuration, maybe a sink, the cooktop, the fridge. So anyway, you get the point. You can just leave those annotations, and here they will appear that you did some annotations, and here people can react to them. You could also solve it, delete it. So many things you can do, and other people are also going to be able to do that. So I think that's it, guys. I've reached the end of this course. I know it was a very long one, but I really just wanted to show you, to teach you, to make this available to all of you, because it's a great tool. You know that I only share things that I really believe in. So I think Rayon is an amazing tool for interior design, for architecture, for interior architecture. For those of you who are just doing this as a hobby, for freelancers, for students, for everybody who is into this field. This is a tool worth trying. And the best part of all is that you can try it for free first. If you like it, then you can get the subscription. If you don't, that's okay, but you have that possibility of trying it for free for yourself. And with this course, you already know how to use all the tools. You really could learn how to master all of this all for free. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this course. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Share it with other people that you think may find it helpful. Again, if you made it all the way through this part of the video, I just want to say congratulations, because that really shows a lot of determination from your part and wanting to learn more about interior design and architecture. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next time. Bye.